Imagine you're at a bustling international airport, a crossroads of cultures, beliefs, and values from every corner of the globe. As you sit, waiting for your flight, you can't help but overhear snippets of conversations, a debate between friends over the ethics of a business decision, a couple discussing the right way to discipline their child, a traveler expressing disbelief at a local custom they've just encountered. Each conversation is a live wire, crackling with the tension of differing moral viewpoints. It's in this cacophony of voices that we find our entry point into the complex, often contentious world of moral relativism. Moral relativism, at its core, is the idea that what's considered morally right or wrong depends on and varies with the cultural, societal, or individual context. There are no absolutes in moral relativism. What's taboo in one culture might be perfectly acceptable in another. This concept challenges us to rethink our notions of morality, pushing the boundaries of our understanding and tolerance. To some, moral relativism is a beacon of tolerance, a necessary antidote to the poison of moral imperialism, where one culture imposes its values on another. It encourages us to walk a mile in another's shoes, to see the world through the eyes of those who live in societies vastly different from our own. But to others, it's a slippery slope that leads to moral nihilism, a world where anything goes, and the line between right and wrong is blurred beyond recognition. As we delve deeper into the world of moral relativism, we'll explore the rich tapestry of human culture and morality. We'll traverse time and space, from the ancient philosophers who first posited that morality might be more a matter of geographic location than divine decree, to modern anthropologists uncovering the vast differences in moral codes across the world's cultures. We'll examine the arguments for and against moral relativism, weighing its merits and demerits, and considering the implications of accepting one worldview over another. But moral relativism isn't just an academic exercise, confined to the pages of philosophy textbooks or the lecture halls of universities. It's alive and well in the everyday decisions we make and the judgments we pass on others. It's in the cultural exchanges that take place when people from different parts of the world meet and interact. It's in the global debates on human rights, environmental ethics, and international law. And it's in the personal struggles we face when confronted with practices and beliefs that challenge our deeply held values. Through this journey, we'll ask tough questions and seek to understand the myriad ways in which moral relativism touches our lives. Can there be any universal moral principles in a world as diverse as ours? How do we navigate the complex interplay between respecting cultural differences and upholding human rights? And in a world where moral relativism reigns, how do we find common ground? We're about to embark on a fascinating exploration of moral relativism, a concept that challenges us to look beyond our own moral compasses and consider a broader, more inclusive perspective on right and wrong. Whether you're a staunch defender of universal moral truths or a believer in the fluidity of moral judgment, there's something in this journey for you. Let's dive in, with open minds and a spirit of inquiry, into the world where moral codes are not set in stone, but are as diverse and dynamic as the human experience itself. Continuing from our vibrant introduction, let's venture further into the labyrinth of moral relativism, a concept that both enlightens and perplexes. The journey through the corridors of morality is not just about understanding different cultures, but also about confronting our own biases and assumptions. It's a trek that promises to challenge our convictions and broaden our perspectives. In the realm of moral relativism, the philosophical debates are as old as philosophy itself. Ancient Greek historians like Herodotus observed the vast differences in customs and laws among the peoples they studied, pondering whether these differences meant that morality was purely a matter of local convention. Fast forward to the present, and these debates have evolved, not settled, reflecting the complexity and dynamism of human societies. One of the most compelling aspects of moral relativism is its emphasis on cultural understanding and tolerance. In a world marked by globalization, where cultures intersect and merge in unprecedented ways, the ability to appreciate and respect different moral viewpoints has never been more crucial. It fosters a sense of global community, encouraging us to engage with the world not as judges, but as learners, eager to understand the rich tapestry of human life. Yet, moral relativism also raises significant challenges, especially when it comes to addressing issues of universal human rights. Critics argue that if we accept all moral codes as equally valid, we risk endorsing practices that violate basic human dignity. Female genital mutilation, child marriages, and slavery are practices still found in some cultures. These practices raise thorny questions. Where do we draw the line between respecting cultural practices and protecting human rights? Is it possible to criticize such practices without falling into the trap of cultural imperialism, where we impose our moral values on others? This dilemma is not easily resolved. Advocates of moral relativism suggest that understanding and dialogue are key. They argue that by engaging with different cultures, we can find common ground and work towards moral principles that respect cultural differences while upholding the dignity and rights of all individuals. This approach requires humility, openness, and a willingness to question our assumptions about right and wrong. But moral relativism isn't just a matter of international debate. It's woven into the fabric of our daily lives. Consider the family dinner table, where generations often clash over issues such as gender roles, sexual orientation, and political beliefs. These disagreements are microcosms of the broader cultural debates, reflecting the diversity of moral perspectives within our own communities. They remind us that moral relativism is not an abstract theory, but a lived reality, challenging us to navigate our differences with empathy and respect. The impact of moral relativism extends into the legal and political arenas as well. Laws and policies that once seemed set in stone are now subject to scrutiny and change, reflecting shifting moral landscapes. Debates over issues like drug legalization, euthanasia, and the death penalty are influenced by changing attitudes and values, demonstrating how societal moral codes evolve over time. These debates highlight the dynamic nature of morality, shaped by cultural, historical, and social forces. In exploring moral relativism, we also encounter its philosophical critics, who argue for the existence of universal moral truths. These thinkers challenge the notion that morality is purely subjective, proposing instead that certain moral principles are inherent to human nature and applicable across cultures. This perspective suggests that while cultural differences in morality exist, they operate within the bounds of universal moral truths that define the essence of what it means to be human. As we delve deeper into the world of moral relativism, we're confronted with more questions than answers. Can a balance be struck between respecting cultural diversity and upholding universal moral principles? How do we navigate the complex interplay between individual freedom and collective norms? And perhaps most importantly, how do we engage in meaningful dialogue across cultural and moral divides? In grappling with these questions, we come to understand that moral relativism is not just a philosophical stance, but a call to action. It challenges us to look beyond our own moral horizons, to engage with the world in a spirit of curiosity and compassion. It asks us to recognize the humanity in those whose lives and beliefs are radically different from our own, to find common ground, even as we acknowledge our differences. As we draw this exploration to a close, it's clear that the journey through the landscape of moral relativism is far from over. The questions it raises are as relevant today as they were in ancient times, reflecting the ongoing struggle to understand the nature of morality in a complex and changing world. What remains constant is our capacity for reflection, dialogue, and growth. In the end, moral relativism invites us to embrace the diversity of human experience, to learn from it, and to find ways to live together in a world where moral absolutes are hard to come by, but mutual understanding and respect remain within reach. This journey through moral relativism has been a tapestry of philosophical thought, cultural exploration, and personal introspection. It challenges us to confront our deepest beliefs, to question, to listen, and ultimately to grow. In a world of infinite shades of moral gray, perhaps the most important lesson is that our shared humanity binds us together, offering a foundation upon which to build a more understanding, tolerant, and compassionate world. The discourse around moral relativism often circles back to the individual's role in society. Each person is a mosaic of cultural, familial, and personal influences, crafting a unique moral compass. This diversity within even a single community can lead to profound disagreements on issues ranging from environmental responsibility to economic justice. These disagreements underscore the complexity of creating societal norms that respect individual differences while promoting a common good. The relativist perspective encourages us to see these disagreements not as insurmountable barriers, but as opportunities for dialogue and growth. In the context of social justice, moral relativism offers both a caution and a challenge. The caution lies in recognizing that movements for justice and equality must be sensitive to the cultural contexts in which they operate. Efforts to promote gender equality, for example, must consider the diverse meanings of gender across cultures. The challenge, however, is not to fall into moral paralysis, where the fear of imposing values leads to inaction against injustice. Activists and scholars alike grapple with these tensions, seeking pathways to advocate for universal human rights while respecting cultural diversity. The global stage further complicates these issues. In an interconnected world, actions in one part of the globe can have ethical implications thousands of miles away. The debate over climate change is a prime example, where the environmental practices of one nation can contribute to global warming, affecting the most vulnerable populations in other regions. Here, moral relativism intersects with global ethics, prompting a reevaluation of what we owe to one another as citizens of the world. The challenge is to develop a global moral perspective that acknowledges cultural differences while addressing shared challenges. Moreover, the rise of digital technology presents new ethical dilemmas that transcend traditional cultural boundaries. Issues of privacy, data security, and digital equality raise questions about the nature of rights and responsibilities in the digital age. As these technologies become increasingly integral to our daily lives, the need for a global dialogue on digital ethics becomes more urgent. Moral relativism can play a role in this dialogue, encouraging a multiplicity of perspectives and fostering a more inclusive approach to digital governance. Yet, for all its emphasis on cultural sensitivity and tolerance, moral relativism is not without its critics. Some argue that it can lead to a form of moral nihilism, where the absence of absolute moral standards undermines the basis for critical moral judgment. Others caution against the potential for relativism to justify inaction in the face of clear moral wrongdoing. These critiques remind us that the pursuit of moral understanding and tolerance must be balanced with a commitment to act against clear injustices. In navigating these complex ethical landscapes, the individual's journey through moral relativism becomes a process of continuous reflection and engagement. It involves not only understanding the diverse moral landscapes of our global community, but also examining our own moral beliefs and biases. This process is not easy, requiring a willingness to question deeply held assumptions and to engage with perspectives that challenge our own. Ultimately, the exploration of moral relativism is an ongoing journey, one that invites us to reflect on the nature of morality, ethics, and our shared humanity. It challenges us to think critically about how we live together in a world of diversity, to seek common ground, and to strive for a global community that respects differences while working towards shared goals of justice, peace, and understanding. While moral relativism opens up a complex web of questions and challenges, it also offers a framework for engaging with the world in a thoughtful, respectful, and open-minded way. By embracing the diversity of moral perspectives, we can work towards creating a more just, compassionate, and understanding world. This journey through moral relativism is not merely an academic exercise, but a deeply personal and collective endeavor, one that touches the heart of what it means to be human in an ever-changing world. Navigating the waters of moral relativism, we find ourselves at the confluence of individual ethics and collective societal values. This exploration reveals that moral relativism is not just a philosophical curiosity, but a lived experience, influencing how we perceive justice, enact laws, and interact with each other on a global scale. As we delve further, we recognize the intricate balance between embracing cultural diversity and advocating for universal principles that transcend cultural boundaries. In the realm of personal ethics, moral relativism encourages individuals to introspect about their moral convictions, challenging them to understand the roots of their beliefs. This introspection is vital in a world where individuals increasingly encounter diverse viewpoints through travel, media, and social networks. It prompts us to ask, how much of what we believe to be right or wrong is shaped by our culture, and how open are we to reevaluating our positions in light of new perspectives? This journey of self-reflection is crucial for personal growth and for fostering empathy towards others' moral frameworks. The impact of moral relativism extends into the collective sphere of societal values, influencing debates on legislation and public policy. In democracies, where laws are supposed to reflect the collective moral stance of the society, moral relativism poses a unique challenge. How can laws be formulated to accommodate the diversity of moral perspectives within a society? This question becomes even more complex in multicultural societies, where diverse communities may hold conflicting moral views on issues such as marriage, gender rights, and freedom of expression. The challenge lies in creating a legal framework that respects these differences while ensuring the rights and dignity of all citizens. On the global stage, moral relativism underscores the importance of intercultural dialogue and cooperation. In an era marked by global challenges such as climate change, migration, and international conflicts, the need for a shared ethical framework has never been more apparent. Yet, moral relativism reminds us that this shared framework cannot be imposed from above. It must emerge from genuine engagement with and respect for the world's diverse cultures and values. Such engagement requires not only diplomacy and political will, but also a commitment from individuals and communities to seek understanding and common ground. The digital age presents new frontiers for moral relativism. As digital technologies erase geographical boundaries and create virtual communities, they also raise unprecedented ethical questions. The spread of misinformation, online harassment, and digital surveillance challenge us to rethink ethical standards in the digital realm. Here, moral relativism can guide us in appreciating the diversity of ethical concerns across cultures, while also working towards global standards that protect privacy, dignity, and freedom of expression in the digital world. Despite its contributions to fostering cultural sensitivity and understanding, moral relativism faces criticism for potentially undermining the pursuit of objective moral truths. Critics argue that without universal moral standards, society risks descending into moral chaos, where anything goes. Addressing these concerns requires a nuanced approach that recognizes the value of diverse moral perspectives, while also seeking foundational principles that support human flourishing across cultures. This approach acknowledges that while moral practices may vary, certain fundamental human needs and values, such as the need for compassion, justice, and respect, can serve as a basis for cross-cultural ethical dialogue. The journey through the landscape of moral relativism is both challenging and enriching. It compels us to confront our assumptions, engage with diverse perspectives, and strive for a deeper understanding of the ethical dimensions of human life. As we navigate this journey, we are reminded of the importance of balance between respecting cultural diversity and advocating for ethical principles that promote the well-being of all individuals. In doing so, we contribute to building a world that values diversity as a source of strength and sees moral dialogue not as a barrier, but as a bridge to a more just and compassionate global community. As we further navigate the terrain shaped by moral relativism, it becomes increasingly clear that literature plays a pivotal role in illustrating and exploring the complex dynamics of moral beliefs across different cultures and societies. Literature, with its profound capacity to mirror and question human values, acts as a bridge connecting the abstract principles of moral relativism to the tangible experiences of individuals and communities. Through stories, novels, and plays, we encounter a multiplicity of voices and perspectives that challenge us to consider the depth and breadth of human morality beyond our personal and cultural boundaries. Take, for instance, Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart, a novel that masterfully depicts the clash of cultures and the impact of colonialism on the traditional moral values of the Igbo society in Nigeria. Achebe's work compels readers to question the universality of moral principles, highlighting how colonial imposition of Western values disrupted and devalued indigenous moral and social norms. The protagonist, Okonkwo's tragic end, serves as a poignant critique of moral imperialism and a call to recognize the legitimacy and complexity of moral systems different from our own. Similarly, The Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver explores the themes of cultural arrogance and moral relativism through the story of a missionary family in the Congo. Kingsolver uses the narrative to examine the dangers of applying one's own moral standards universally, without understanding or respecting the cultural context of others. The novel prompts readers to reflect on the consequences of moral absolutism and the importance of empathy and humility in navigating moral diversity. In contrast, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee delves into the moral landscape of the American South in the 1930s, tackling issues of racism, justice, and moral courage. Through the eyes of the young protagonist, Scout, and her father, Atticus Finch, the novel challenges readers to confront their own prejudices and to consider the universal principles of fairness and empathy in the face of deeply ingrained societal biases. Lee's work suggests that while moral perspectives may vary, there are underlying human values that can guide us toward justice and understanding. The exploration of moral relativism through literature does not merely provide a reflection of diverse moral landscapes. It actively engages the reader in a dialogue, encouraging a deeper, more nuanced understanding of morality. By presenting characters and situations that defy easy moral categorization, literature opens up a space for questioning, empathy, and growth. It allows us to see the world through the eyes of others, to feel the weight of their moral dilemmas, and to recognize the common humanity that underlies our diverse moral codes. Moreover, literature serves as a testament to the dynamic nature of morality, illustrating how moral beliefs evolve over time in response to changing social, political, and cultural contexts. It reminds us that moral relativism is not a static concept, but a living, breathing process of negotiation and reinterpretation that occurs both within and between cultures. In weaving moral relativism into the fabric of its narratives, literature offers a powerful tool for understanding the complexity of human morality. It challenges us to move beyond simplistic judgments and to embrace the richness of the world's moral diversity. As we engage with literature that spans cultures and epochs, we are invited to participate in a global moral conversation, one that acknowledges the validity of different moral perspectives while seeking common ground in our shared humanity. Tiny Journey Through Moral Relativism, enriched by the insights of literature, reaffirms the importance of open-mindedness, empathy, and dialogue in navigating the complex landscape of human values. Literature, with its unique ability to humanize abstract ethical debates, provides a vital lens through which we can explore and understand the multifaceted nature of morality. As we continue to seek a balance between respecting cultural diversity and advocating for universal principles of justice and compassion, literature stands as a beacon, guiding us toward a deeper and more inclusive understanding of what it means to live ethically in a diverse world. In the realm of exploring moral relativism through literature, art similarly offers a profound lens for examining and reflecting upon the diverse moral landscapes that shape human experience. Art, in its myriad forms, serves not only as a reflection of societal values and ethical dilemmas, but also as a provocative challenge to viewers' moral perspectives, inviting a deeper contemplation of what constitutes morality across different cultures and epochs. One such artwork that resonates with the themes of moral relativism is Pieter Bruegel, The Elders, The Tower of Babel 1563. This painting depicts the biblical story of humanity's attempt to build a tower to reach heaven, which was thwarted by God, who then created a multiplicity of languages so that the builders could not understand each other, resulting in chaos and disunity. Bruegel's portrayal of this tale can be interpreted as a reflection on human ambition, communication, and the diversity of cultures. It serves as a metaphor for the challenges of moral relativism, highlighting how the diversity of languages, and by extension cultures, can lead to misunderstanding and conflict, yet also contribute to the rich tapestry of human experience. Similarly, Francisco Goya's The 3rd of May 1808 powerfully captures the horrors of war and the moral dilemmas faced by individuals in times of conflict. The painting shows Spanish patriots facing execution by French soldiers during the Peninsular War, vividly depicting the brutality of war and the suffering of innocents. Goya's work invites viewers to ponder the ethics of rebellion, occupation, and the human cost of political and military struggles, challenging us to consider the relative nature of heroism, loyalty, and justice in the context of war. In a more contemporary context, Banksy's street art offers a stark commentary on social and political issues, questioning societal norms and the moral status quo. Through provocative imagery and subversive messages, Banksy's works, such as The Girl with Balloon or The Walled-Off Hotel, confront viewers with the realities of poverty, war, and inequality, urging a reevaluation of moral priorities in a globalized world. Banksy's art exemplifies how modern expressions can challenge viewers to reflect on the relativism of moral values in the face of contemporary global challenges. Additionally, the sculpture Non-Violence, also known as The Knotted Gun by Carl Friedrich Ruderswade, created as a tribute to John Lennon and a symbol of peace, encapsulates the universal longing for an end to violence and the pursuit of peaceful resolutions to conflict. Situated outside the United Nations headquarters in New York, this sculpture transcends cultural and national boundaries, advocating for a moral consensus on the value of peace and nonviolence. It embodies the possibility of finding common ground in a morally relativistic world, suggesting that certain values, such as the desire for peace, may be universally shared despite diverse cultural expressions. Through these artworks, we are reminded that art, like literature, plays a crucial role in exploring and challenging our moral perceptions. Art not only reflects the complexity of moral dilemmas across different societies and historical periods, but also encourages a dialogue with the viewer, prompting introspection and potentially reshaping moral viewpoints. By engaging with these works, viewers are invited to traverse cultural boundaries and delve into the nuanced debates of moral relativism, exploring the tensions between cultural specificity and universal human values. In weaving together the insights from literature and the evocative power of art, our journey through moral relativism becomes enriched and multidimensional. Both mediums serve as vital conduits for exploring the diversity of human morality, offering perspectives that challenge, inspire, and transform. As we continue to navigate the complexities of moral relativism, art and literature stand as beacons of understanding, guiding us toward a deeper appreciation of the vast moral landscape that defines the human condition.